right, I'm going to try not to space out for this whole thing like I just started off doing. I am just varnishing a different tea light holder that I'm failing at keeping in my hands and not dropping. Sorry, not a tea light, an incense holder. Did I say tea light? Or did I say incense holder? I don't even know. Doesn't even matter. It's an incense holder. My voice is kind of crap today. Got a bit of some kind of frog in my throat, so I apologize ahead of time for the excessive clearing of my throat that I will be doing. I was smart enough to pull up some royalty-free music on my YouTube. Thanks, Jerry Lynn, if you're lurking. So I finally did that so that at least it's not super quiet in the background. I can't see the comments yet, so bear with me. I will come back to them in a minute. I had varnished this in a satin varnish. Hated it. Tried a high gloss varnish. Hated it more. So I am now going over it with matte Mod Podge that's watered down to see if I can't salvage this one. Like, I hated it enough that if I didn't have the matte Mod Podge to go over it, I probably would have thrown it in the garbage. Like, I hated it that much. So I'm already optimistic seeing how the center has dried. So it should salvage this. So once I finish this little edge here of varnish, I will pop back to the comments and say hello to everybody. But in the meantime, hi, happy, what is it, Monday? Happy Monday. I hope you've had a good day so far. Excuse me. And thank you for coming to hang out. I've got a bunch of stuff that we can work on. So we're going to have a good couple hours of being creative. Hello, Arthur Pencil Dragon. How you doing, Jess? Oh, thank you, Kame. Is it Kame or Kame? I'm sorry, I apologize. Hey, Jeffy. Who in my family makes the best food? My dad. No, my Aunt Anne. Thank you, Hannah. Oh, you tried your swoops. How you doing? How'd you make out? Thank you, Lacey. That's so kind of you. How'd you make out, my dear? Oh, I already am so much happier now. Even just watching this dry, I've got to do a second coat on this. Now I like it again. So we've got our edging. So we're going to let that dry. I finished the edging on the sunflower color one. I'm still on the fence on whether or not it's actually done, but I think it is. So we'll get some varnish on this probably tonight. We'll do that tonight together. We're going to stick with the Mod Podge. I need to do another coat. Actually, no, this one's... I need to do another coat on the bottom of this one. And I also have a touch-up that I have to do on this one that I have been putting off for a while. No particular reason. I don't know if we're going to work on that tonight. I've got to dig out the paint, so it'll see how easy it is for me to find the paints. But otherwise, I'll do that later and come back and finish that one after. I did use a high gloss varnish on this one to keep that shine. So I need to do a coat on the bottom of that as well. But I'd like to give this another day to dry. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm going to give it another day to dry. And then we'll do that one. All of these pieces that I'm showing you will be part of my shop update that's happening on Saturday, the 26th at noon Eastern. So yeah, I've got a little bit of work to do. I have my window open tonight because it's a nice nice evening out. And I started with the edging on this one, this incense holder. So I got these ones done. So we will do some of these swoops too, because we've got this half to do now. So we'll work on that too. I'm just going to scroll back and catch up here. Hey, Patty. That's awesome, Jess. I'm so glad. It's all about practice and going super, super slow. Thanks, Lacey, for the love. Thanks, Bree Bree. Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much, Bree Bree. Thank you, Lady Donna. Mark McDonald. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? How you doing, love? I used to work with Mark McDonald. Not that long ago in history, but it feels like a long time ago. I guess 5 years ago now? 7 years ago now. I left Dealer Munn 7 years ago. Oh, thank you, Jennings. All right, so should we varnish? Let's continue varnishing, and then we'll do some painting. So I need to do varnish on the bottom here. I love the beachy colors. Oh, yay! I'm so glad that's what it makes you think of, Suzanne. That's wonderful. Susan, sorry, not Suzanne. Why did I call you Suzanne? I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so glad that's what it makes you think of. Aw, thank you, James. Thank you, love. I'm just putting the final coat of varnish on your stone. And then it is on its way to tomorrow. And for what it's worth, it is christened with hair of Miss Audrey. So not only comes with love infused by me when I paint it, but it's got some Audrey love in there for you too. Audrey likes dogs, so. So there we go. So we'll let that one dry. It is, my love. This is it. This is it. You've been called worse, Susan. I can't wait to get this out to you, James. I was so excited today because I wrapped up all your mugs and I did a test run with a box that I was... I've been kind of looking, going, I don't know how I'm going to fit all this stuff. But I got a good box. I'm going to very likely wildly overdo it with bubble wrap, but I apologize in advance, but my paranoia will get the better of me when it comes to making sure that it gets to you safe and sound. All right, so we're going to do a coat of varnish on this one too. I can't wait for you to get her. Cannot freaking wait, love. I can't wait for you to see it in person. It's so much prettier in person than it is on camera, as most stuff usually is, right? Well, most stuff done by those of us who don't know how to take fancy pictures anyway. I can't wait for you to see it. So it'll be getting in the mail to you tomorrow. All right. Tomorrow I'm going to the post office to mail a few orders, and then I'm coming home and doing a ton of casting if I can. Get a whole bunch of blanks made. I know my friend Miss Molly is anxious for more candle holders, blank candle holders, so I'm going to do as many as I possibly can over the next little bit so that I've got some available in my shop update on Saturday as well. I'm also hoping to have my next pattern available next Saturday too, which I'm really excited about. Oh, it was an absolute pleasure, James. Hi, Carrie. Aw, thanks, Let Your Color Shine. Thanks, love. I'm so glad you guys like them. These are so fun to paint. So, other than doing a bunch of casting tomorrow, the rest of my plan is I have got 2 tea light candle holders, and I'm going to do them. I'm going to start doing what I'm calling time trials. Because most of the time I've only been painting on the lives, I don't really have a realistic picture of how long it takes me to complete these pieces, which means I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants when it comes to pricing my own artwork, which is wildly irresponsible. Glass black candle holders. Ooh. Oh, will you post pictures? Will you show us what that looks like and what you make? That sounds fantastic. Yeah, so I've got to start doing some time trials to figure out if I am properly pricing my stuff. And I'm hoping that it's just going to help me create more, that's my goal. I'm trying to steer myself away from the words being productive, because it's subjective, isn't it? And my goal isn't to be more productive. My goal is to create more. So I'm trying to be very deliberate with my words and what I say with that. But I'm hoping that that's what it'll do. And I want to be able to create more. I used to only want to do one-of-a-kind stuff. I was hell-bent on it. I'm like, I'm not producing multiples of too much. And then, my first year of Christmas ornaments came along and blew that theory right out of the water. But I haven't really played with it too much in candle holders or mugs or anything like that. So I'm kind of thinking that, every month I'm going to... One of my ideas, anyway, I don't know if this is what I'll follow through on, but one of the ideas is every month I pick a pattern or a color scheme, and I just paint as much as I possibly can of each thing. Oh, good, I want to see that picture. That's going to be so cool. So like if it would be really cool if one month I was able to say, okay, I've got 10 of these sunflower incense holders available, or I've got 5 sunflower mugs available. Whereas right now everything is so one of a kind, and I like that. And I still don't want the, I won't be able to make hundreds or anything, so they'll still be kind of limited. And they still will be one of a kind because they're hand painted, but you get my drift, right? Hey, Barb. It's good to see ya. How you doing? Glad you're able to come by and hang out. How did you work today? Oh, or did you have today off with the holiday? Oh yeah, it's a holiday today. So happy whatever holiday it is where you are. It's Family Day here in Ontario, Canada. Wherever you are, if it is a holiday today, I hope you're we're able to kind of give yourself a little bit of time. Hi, Mrs. King. Off till Saturday now. Oh, nice. What's on the agenda for this week? Painting, crocheting. What you got going on? This particular song is going to make me want to stick a fork in my eye. Hold on one second. I've got royalty music on, royalty-free music on. So, yeah, it's a lot of trial and error. I'm doing very well, thank you, Mrs. King. I hope you're doing well also. Wishing you lots of love and smiles and laughs, all of you. pooper. I forgot a swoop. That's all right. I can go in and do it after. I'll fix that after. Trying to buy black mugs to paint more. I'm making, mini knit dragons. Oh, people are going to be fighting over those, I betcha. Have you made them before, or is it something new? And yay for black mugs. Going to Dollar Tree? Got a couple pieces that we're going to prep tonight too, or at least get the first coat of gesso on so that they'll be ready to paint maybe by tomorrow. Now on canvases and stuff, you're supposed to leave 24 hours between coats of gesso, and you're probably supposed to no matter what you're painting on, but see if I actually do that or not. See how patient I am. Yeah, I've got something going on, Barb. I'm not sure what it is, but something's going on in my throat. A little froggy. Using my sexy phone voice. Good evening. How is everybody? Hi, Casey. It's good to see you. Always good to see you. Soap and tea, yeah. Soup and tea, sorry, not soap and tea. Yeah, I'm going to have some tea after. Oh, okay, I'm going to have a drink, and then we're going to work on some soups here. Soups, some swoops. Now I got soups in my brain. Oh, thank you, Mrs. King. Isn't it pretty? I freaking love it. I'm so happy with this one. So happy with it. All right, so we're going to grab our paints. And I'm going to grab, what tools was I using? All right, I think it was this one. So the paints that I'm using are Ohuhu brand metallic acrylic paints. They are, excuse me, absolutely beautiful and bright and brilliant. But they're more heavy bodied paints, so they do need to be thin. So I'm using apple barrel pouring medium and mixing it in to get to the consistency that I want. And since I haven't painted yet today, this is my first time today sitting down and painting. So I'm going to make sure I give them a good stir to see if the consistency has stayed or not. If it hasn't, I'll add a bit more pouring medium. Still looks pretty good though. What we're looking for here is when we pull the paint out, we create this little peak, right? See how it sinks right back in? It levels itself out. That self-leveling is what we want. Oh, thank you so much, Sadie. That's so kind. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. All right, so let's start with some of these blues. All right, so my blues are lined up here. This one's actually a little straighter than I would have liked. I do want more of a curve there. So I've got my little sponge here that I can hold this on. Let's see if I can tilt this a little bit better. I'm not going to be able to see the comments very easy, but hopefully this gives you guys a view. Let's see how this goes. So loading lots of paint on here. And then going I'm going to add more paint, and I'm going to go over it again. And there we go. The key with this is to take your swoops nice and slow, put lots of paint on there. There we go. And the reason I add more paint back in there is that when the paint starts to thin out, especially with the heavier bodied paint, it can leave like little divots, little moats almost. So adding some more paint in there helps. So with ones like this, anytime I'm doing a row or an edging, I know there's two ways to do it. The first way is to go around the entire piece doing all of one color and one piece of it. Like, for example, going around the entire piece doing all of these blue swoops, and then going all the way around the piece and doing the teal swoops, and then going all the way around with the baby blue and then the mint green. The reason that I didn't do that on this one is because it all depends as well on whether or not what you have to hold on to, right? So if I had done all the way around, what would have happened is that I would have had no choice but to hold it like a hamburger the whole time, right? So that I didn't get any, my hands in the paint. And even then I was still going to risk touching the paint in here, right? So, and the other thing is when you're holding it like this and it's all the way around, there's nowhere for me to set it down and have the sponge or the table help me at all. So instead, I'm only going to do as much as I can while I can sit it down and not have it rub off or smudge. I'm going to put a little bit more paint on this one. And then I'll put it aside and let it dry again. But what I'll do though is once I get as many, and I know how many sections basically that I'm going to do, I will do all of the colors in that section, because there's no point in sitting around and waiting for it all to dry when I could fill it up, right? Because the issue isn't letting it dry before I can continue and adding the next pieces, it's letting it dry so I have something to sit on. So when I'm not waiting to, because I need to for the progression of the design or the colors, then I can kind of make that choice to go through and do a few at a time and let them sit and dry. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more on this side, which means that no matter, I'm probably going to do just one more and then I'll wait and I'll do these following 3 because I want to make sure I've got somewhere to sit it and make sure that I don't smudge. I could be a little overzealous and do a few more, even though there's only 4 left. But usually when I push it past where I should do it, I notice it pretty quickly. And there's a really, really good shot at making some pretty significant mistakes. Or smudging, or all kinds of things. So I'll touch that up a little bit. See, I'm going to do one more. So don't be afraid to add lots of paint. Just take your time. So remember, you're not painting with the tool. You are coaxing the paint into a specific shape. Now that one didn't go all the way down, but I'm not super worried about it. I didn't worry about it on every single one of these either. So I'm not going to worry about that here. I got most of them. So I'm going to set that down for a minute, and then we're going to go on to our teal. I'll check it and see if it needs any more pouring medium. So we'll give it a stir. So this set of paints came in a set of 24 metallic paints. They're not multi-surface, so I can't use these on mugs, but they're great for canvas, wood, on the any of the molded stones, using gypsum or plaster of Paris or concrete, on natural stone, all that sort of stuff. So multi-surface is what you're looking for if you are going to be painting glass or ceramics. Otherwise, you are good with regular acrylics. Okay. So here's my last one. So I know that when I set it down here, I'm not getting this one on top of the sponge. So I'm not risking smudging it there. Now I still have the risk, of course, of me smudging with my hands. All right, and even then with that one, I feel the urge to push my sleeve up because my sleeve was getting a little too close to the paint. So now I'll go through and I'll do all of this color. Just going nice and slow. I'm still using the same size tool, just using a little less paint, fewer applications. This, I think if I had thinned down the dark blue a little bit more, I probably would have gotten more distance out of those swoops anyway. Yes, if I make a mistake, I can just pull the paint off of it. As long as the best way to do it is as soon as you see it, get that paint off. I've got some dotting tools that have these silicone brushes on the end, so I could just wipe this paint off. I could sand it if it left any residue, that left any bumps or anything, paint back over it with my black gesso or my base coat, and then just redo whatever I needed to do, or do something completely different. I do that lots and lots and lots and lots of times. Definitely never be afraid to just wipe it out and start over. I do it all the time. This one is a perfect example. I think we tried that first row of swoops. We did that on a live last week. I want to say we tried it 3 or 4 times before sticking with how it actually went. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I want to say that we tried it at least 3 times before I got it to work out. And I did the same with this edging too. It took me a few tries to get it the way that I wanted it to be. Because sometimes you even have to draw it out, right? I'm not usually one to design it ahead of time, but having a piece of paper handy so that I can kind of draw out what's in my brain, so I can visualize how I can implement it with the types of swoops and dots and all of that sort of stuff, right? All right, let me scroll, come back down here. Oh, how did you find it, Doris? Is that, excuse me, is there some way that I could let you know about details like that as far as sizing and everything like that, Doris, before the pattern? Like, should I list the tool sizes needed maybe in the product listing. Do you think that would help? Thank you, Kathy. Lots and lots of practice. Lots and lots of practice. Thankfully, I find it really relaxing. So what I find happens is that my breathing slows, my blood pressure lowers. Oh, that's good. No, I just wasn't sure because some people don't like really tiny work either, right? So I would hate for somebody to get one and then not enjoy it. Thank you so much, Kathy. Hi, Elaine. All right, so now we're going on to the bright blue. Let's give this one a stir. So again, make sure you just give them a really good stir and don't be too surprised if you end up having to add in some more pouring medium. Like this one's right on the borderline in my mind. Could probably use a little bit more. So let's give it a little bit more. I hope you have fun with it, Doris. I think it's one of those ones that would be really cool to see with a bunch of different colors too, right? And see how the pattern and design looks different depending on the colors that you use. I think that would be really interesting. Oh, thank you, Beeman's daughter. That's so kind. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Lightning Lizard Jewelry. How you doing? Thank you so much. Sorry for the noise, you guys. It's so nice out today that I can't close my window. I just can't do it. I can't let it be stuffy in here when I could have that fresh air coming in. Even if the sacrifice is the noise. I want to take advantage of it while we've got it because it's going to get cold again at the end of this week, I think. I think that's what the forecast was anyway here in Ontario. For my neck of the woods anyway. Let's see. That's much better. Okay. I am about an hour east of Toronto, Kathy. Whoa. There we go. Got something on my hands there. Let's see. What kind of tools am I using? So I'm using a combination of double-ended nail dotting stylus tools that have these metal balls on the end. Excuse me. And I also use these tools that are white and they look like pencils. They are double-ended as well. Each end is a different size. They are numbered. That's number 5. They're by DIY Mandala Stones. And that's the main combination of tools that I use. DIY Mandala Stones, they come in 2 different sizes of tool sets. Or 3 sizes. You can get a small, a large, and then a combo pack that has both of them. I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see how it turns out, Doris. I hope you enjoy it. Hello in Hamilton, Julie. Favorite place on earth other than Scotland? Well, that's pretty cool to hear. All right, let's do the next one. So this one's now a smaller swoop, right? It's got less ground to cover. So I'm still using the same size tool, but I'm just not using quite as much paint. the faster you go with your swoops, the shorter they will be. So the slower you go, the more ground you can cover with your swoops. The incense holders, I make them myself with gypsum concrete and a mold I got from Devon Dotting. I am hoping to have some blank ones available for sale on my website next Saturday at noon Eastern when I do my shop restock. I'm going to have at least 4 mugs, a couple candle holders, and a few incense holders that will go up next weekend. 4 mugs? 5? 4? 4. Yeah, 4 mugs. Might have more too, you never know. Problem with the mugs is they have to wait for 21 days to cure. So just know that if you're looking at a mug on Saturday, the date that it'll be available to be shipped will be right in the product title, and it won't go in the mail until that day or even 1 or 2 days after. That one's crap. All right, so you want to see how I fix mistakes? See how I made a big chunky mess of that one? So I'm going to use this silicone brush and slowly pull this paint off. And then I'm going to go in with a tiny brush and my black gesso, and I'll paint over top of it. And then I'll leave it to dry. I'll probably even wait and leave it and come back to it when I do these 2 blank ones. Then I'll come in and finish off that one. Okay, so now that paint is pulled off, I'm going to find myself... Whoops. Actually, I got paint all over my hands, so actually, hold on one second. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the last light blue swoop that I can do here. Yeah, I think that we're going to have at least 1, if not 2 more mugs this weekend as well. I'd like to get 2 more of each done, to be honest. I'd love to be able to put up like 5 of each thing. I think that would be pretty cool. Hi, Tammy. How you doing? How long did it take you for you to get the hang of swoops? 2.5 years. Now, however, this was trying to figure it out on my own. Now, I had it figured out when I could place the paint and then use a tool to pull the paint into a swoop. So doing swoops like these ones, for example, where I'd place the paint and then use a tool to pull it down, those ones I mastered significantly quicker. But the kind of dropping the paint and dragging with your tool, that took me a very, very long time. What turned it around for me was the first time I saw swoops in real time. Art of Points posted a video of doing swoops on ceramic mugs and on stone in real time. And as soon as I saw that video, that's when the light bulb went off. I'm like, oh, that's how slow I have to go. Because I thought I was going as slow as I possibly could. Now, if you check out my video from a couple of days ago on TikTok, I actually posted a video of real-time swoops. If you want to see that. But once I realized how slow I actually had to go, it was a total game changer. And my relationships with swoops completely changed. Because I was still trying to go way, way, way too fast. I forgot to clean out my pipette that had the pouring medium. Bear with me 1 second here. See if I can get that clean. It's not working. Getting water everywhere, and I'm shaking the table. I'm so sorry. All right. We are going to get back to the dot mandala inspiration card pulls too. I still have a bunch to paint. I actually want to use them to paint these next couple of candle holders and incense holders and mugs. So the next couple of things might not be repeats of patterns that we've done before or experimentation, but jumping into some of those cards. So that'll be super, super fun. So let's keep going with this one. I think we're done with the blue. So now we're going to go in with the teal. And let me catch up on the comments because I know I'm behind. Yeah, it'll definitely... Oh, that's good. So pulling the paint is the easy one, right? But it's when you have to just drop and then drag it. So yeah, just go super, 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 super slowly. When in doubt, go even slower. You created a circle around the swoops. I've been watching to see what you did with one you were working on the other day. Which one was that, Tammy? Hi, Holly. It's an incense holder. So the incense stick will go right there. You're most welcome, Marianne. Hi, Zumafu. These are incense holders. Yeah, until I saw that video by Art of Point showing just how slow, like I'd had people tell me to go slow. Oh, and I just stuck my finger in paint. Crap. So that just happened. So now, this is coming off too. Yeah, until I saw that video by Art of Points, I had no idea how slow I was actually supposed to be going. Blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. So I'm just trying to get some of this paint off. I'm just scraping it off. And I'll give this part a sand before I paint over it again. So I just want to smooth it down, right? Because I don't want any ridges or anything. Because when I come back in and redo these after, I want a nice smooth surface. So I'm not concerned with how messy this is getting at all. Don't care. Right? I'll sand it and fix it after. It's totally good. So this is just to get this off. Now I'm going to let it dry. And we'll come back to it and sand it in a little bit. Cool, eh? You're welcome, Holly. You have to watch me make more. I'm so glad you like it. Chirpy Unicorn. Aw, thanks, guys. Let me know which one you were waiting to see an update on, Tammy, and I'll definitely grab it for ya and show ya. All right, so let's go to the next color. And then I'll give you guys a little update on what we've got done and what is on deck. And we'll keep working on these swoops. We might even be able to start a new one tonight, which would be kind of cool too. I don't have any right now. These ones are all going to go up on the website next Saturday, the 26th at noon Eastern. That is when they will be ready. I did the center area, then I put a circle around the swoops. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Tammy, I'm not understanding the question. I put a circle around the swoops. I'm so sorry, I'm not sure. Is this a piece you're talking about that I did this on, that you're looking to see an update on? I'm so sorry, I'm not understanding. Do you remember what it was that I was painting on? Because these are the only 3 incense holders that I have. And then I had a couple candle holders. Was it a mug? Was it... I'm so sorry, I don't remember. Yeah, or what colors, maybe? It's a mug. Okay, I don't have any of the mugs here at the table, but I'll have to go and take a look and see if that sounds familiar when I look at them. Yeah, that was a few days ago because I haven't done a mug in quite a few days. Maybe that's the one though. I don't mind going to grab it. I just hope it's the right one. I will definitely do that after we set this one aside to dry. I'll take a peek. See what I can find. No, the pup stone doesn't have any circles around swoops. So I'll just have to find that and see. All right. Thank you, Zoomopho. It was one day last week. All right. I have to switch my tool. February 26th. Thank you for the roses, sweetheart. That's so kind of you. Oh, thank you, Artsy. Got a candle holder in the yellow as well. It'll be going up. Hey, Jessica. How you doing, love? Good to see ya. No problemo, Zumafu. So yeah, February 26th at noon Eastern, I'll be doing a shop restock. These incense holders, as well as at least these 3 incense holders, the 3 candle holders, and I think, what did I say? 4 mugs. I'm really glad the pattern would work too. It was such a fun one to try, and it was such a crapshoot on whether it was going to work. But it reminds me of, I don't know, I think of like nautical tattoos when I look at it. 2 days after your son's birthday, no way. Pisces. Thank you, TLN. How's the move, Jessica? Oh, thank you, Ractor Chick. Sorry, I hope I got that right. All right, I'm going to grab my white paint now, because now we're going to add some white swoops. And get rid of some of this stringy business first, though. I keep a damp cloth next to me as well, so I just had to adjust that. That's what I clean my tools off on, so I can just kind of reach to the side and give them a swipe on a cloth, clean them up. When you're trying to make all of your dots the same size, you want to make sure you're cleaning your tools on a very regular basis. Help you get consistent tool sizes. All right, let's see. Yep, that's a good consistency. Oh my goodness. My voice is fun though. Last color, yes, good. Snap my finger and everything be done. Wouldn't that be nice? The straight tool up or tilt, it depends on what you are trying to accomplish. If you want the paint to travel farther, tilt. If you want it to be shorter, and it all depends on comfort level for your hands as well. But I find that the paint flows off the tool much better if I've got it at a bit of an angle, but I don't want to go too far on an angle because then it's going to impact the shape. You're most welcome, Mary. It did, Crystal. Didn't it turn out nice? How was the rest of your drive, love? Tammy, I'm going to go grab that mug and I'll bring it in for you, okay? One sec. I just gotta get sitting back down again. Cover back up in my blanket. Audrey okay? Audrey's okay. All right. Me too. I think it would be fun to play with color with this swoop design and even sometime maybe the layout a little bit. I think it could be a really fun pattern to play with. Oh, good, Crystal. I'm glad. Thank you, Sally Gal. All right, so let's move this off to the side here, and then we'll do a quick recap just to show you what we've got so far. And go from there. Move that out of the way. So this was the mug. This is the one you were talking about. Sorry, it's really glary, so let's pull you down here. So this is one of the mugs that'll go up on my website next Saturday. So Sally Gal, the link for my website is in my bio. All of these items that you're seeing here today will be live on my website Saturday, February 26th at noon Eastern. Yeah, it turned out well. Turned out really well. It was one of those impromptu ones where I just came across the colors when I was cleaning up and decided to give it a go. It worked out really well. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Tammy. Yeah, that was a trick. That was the winging it to see if we could freehand that circle. And it worked out well. I'll show you, as of right now, the other mugs that are going to go up on the website next weekend. We have the Purple Twins. I did the same design, same colors, just different color mugs. So the Purple Twins will be going up. They're not going to be sold together. They'll be individual. And then from my day 22 card pull of the prompt Rainbow from my Dot Mandala inspiration deck, this is my rainbow mug. I really like that one too. So that was day 22 of the Dot Mandala inspiration deck card pulls. And it turned out really well too. Let me scroll back and catch up on the comments here. Thank you, Boston Bruin. Thank you, Zumafu. Where did you get your big dotting tool? Don't have one that big. So this one is part of a set from DIY Mandala Stones. It goes I go up to a size 28, which is fairly large. It's almost the same size as my little paint pot. Not too much bigger than that. And I used to use crochet hooks. Plastic crochet hooks are an awesome alternative if you only want to buy 1 or 2 tools and not have to buy an entire set to get what you're looking for. Looking at Michael's or at Walmart at the plastic or acrylic crochet tools is a really good option. Thank you, Holly. Sally, I'm located outside of Toronto, Canada. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back, sorry. Was that you, Tammy? I'm so sorry. I forgot. Thanks, Zumafu. So yeah, no, always show up. This is hand painted. I hand paint all of these. No resin. They're multi-surface acrylic paints that cure to be top shelf dishwasher safe, so no resin necessary. Just hand painted. Nice. Fellow Canadian. Mendez Mom, thank you so much. So these are the 4 mugs that are going to be part of the shop update next Saturday. Each mug is $42 Canadian plus shipping. And that's these ones here. No, unfortunately, I'm just going to do it as a shop update at noon on Saturday. I do everything that way. That way it keeps it fair for everybody who's been watching and waiting for their things. So you've got lots of notice until these items are available in the shop. Yep, I ship worldwide. $42 Canadian plus shipping. I'm glad you like them. Thank you, guys. Thank you, TLN. You're in Nova Scotia, Boston Bruin. That's cool. Whereabouts in Nova Scotia? I used to live in New Brunswick. How many available? In next week's shop update, I'm going to have these 4 mugs will be up. And it all depends on how many others I can get painted before Friday. That's really it. My shop, I run it. It's an online only. My link for my website is in my bio. Hello in Texas. Please say hello to the sun and heat for me. I miss it. In Dartmouth. Not far at all. What painted is it on the mugs? Yes, it's top shelf dishwasher safe after it's been cured. I've got some kind of frog in my throat, Crystal. I haven't quite been able to clear it. I don't feel crappy. My throat's not sore or anything. Just some frogs in my throat, and my voice kind of comes and goes and gets clogged up every now and then. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. Well, and that's the thing, what I'd like to be able to do going forward is have some that are unique and then have some that I can, create multiples of and have more than one available. As of right now, they are pretty darn close to one of a kind right now. More of the golden teal. I might have to. And thank you guys for all the love. I know I shouldn't keep frogs in there. They're very greedy. They want far too much attention. All right, so let's recap. Okay, let's do another coat. I've got to do another coat of matte varnish on this one, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to grab another brush. And let's do another coat of varnish here. How you doing, Jerry Lynn? The mugs take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. That's the problem. I don't, because most of the painting that I do is when I'm on a live, I don't really have a super clear idea of how long each thing takes. So I am very, very aware that I am undercharging for how long these things take me. So I'm going to be starting to do some time trials, and then I'm going to make sure that I have a nice mix of things. You know, some mugs take 3 and 4 hours. Some mugs take an hour to 2 hours. It really depends on the complexity of the design. Really just depends on that. So I'm going to be actually doing some time trials over the next little bit just to see what I can come up with, and see if I can't start creating some multiples of some of these designs that I've fallen in love with, that you guys have fallen in love with. Like the sunflower one always gets a lot of oohs and ahs. It's one of my favorites too. I like looking at it. And these rainbow metallic ones, I love. They just are so happy to me. All of these, this design started first off as a mug. I've made 2 that are kind of similar. They had some minor changes, different to keep them one of a kind, but this is a pattern that I want to revisit on the mugs too, and maybe even try some different colors in it. This particular design, I created a step-by-step pattern, so if you do dot mandalas or dot painting and you want to create this particular design, I did create a step-by-step downloadable PDF that is on my website that walks you through this particular pattern. Now, I would not say that it's a beginner pattern, you guys. You want to have a basic understanding. I mean, I go through the different types of dotting techniques, but I don't know that it would be one of the best ones to start if you're just a beginner. You probably want to be a little bit comfortable with some of the terminology and everything first. But there's links to that in my bio as well. I also expanded this from a 4-inch pattern into a 12-inch pattern. So if you have the desire to do larger pieces, which I get the craving to do, there's a couple options there. But it's kind of fun taking the same design and putting it on multiple different things just to see, you know, what modifications do I need to make to get it to fit properly? What do I dislike it on some things and like it more on others, right? It's so much fun. Okay, let me scroll back. Sorry. Maybe if I sneeze, the frogs will jump out. Maybe it'll scare the crap out of them, eh? But I love this one. This one's done with the Ohuhu Metallics as well. I love this one. So let's do the quick recap then of what we've got coming up, what we've got done so far. So we have this incense holder. I love the edging on this one. It's one of my favorites. Got to do some more varnish on the side there, but I need to mix up some more. Then we have the sunflower one. I think looks awesome. And the cool design on the side. It looks like what's the fighter jet that Darth Vader flies in Star Wars? Thank you, this and that. Always show up too cheap. I'm sorry. I think I'm behind on when that question was asked. What was that for? Nice. That's amazing, Jerry Lynn. That's so cool. Do you have that whole moment where you're like, everything's happening so fast? I can do things so fast. I hope it's so fun. That's awesome. Yes, I'm using watered down matte Mod Podge. So a little bit of water in it also takes away that tackiness that you can get with Mod Podge too. Thank you for sharing the live. Thank you, Laura. Do you varnish certain things? I know you don't varnish mugs. So yes, I do varnish anything that's made from stone wood, cement, all that sort of stuff. I will varnish. Canvas, that sort of stuff. Yep, you can always practice on paper to help. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I know, that's why I need to do the time trials to figure out exactly how long it actually takes me to make the mugs so that I can be charging, because I 100% agree. I am definitely undercharging for how much time it takes me. But the problem is that I don't have a clear answer of how long it does take me. Because that's the hard part. When the primary place for me to do that I do most of my painting is on my lives, I'm also sitting and talking a lot, right? So I'm not necessarily moving at the speed that I would if I was just sitting here on my own and painting. So yeah, that's why I'm going to start doing some of these time trials. I'm going to take a couple patterns and I'm going to see how long it takes me to make them on different things. And I'm going to pick a fairly complex pattern so that I can kind of use some ideas there to help me kind of gauge complexity and everything. Here we go. And yeah, it's 100% something I definitely need to do. For sure. Well, I've got to figure out what that conversion would be because, yeah, I've got to figure out what that's going to look like. And it's really all going to depend on what I am, how many hours it's taking me, and all of that good stuff. So I 100% agree with you. I know I should be charging more, but I have to wait until I have the chance to sit down and actually come up with some data. And the other thing I need to do is start completely having projects that I never ever touch on a live, right? Because as soon as I touch it on a live, my timing drops and I lose all control for timing for how long it takes me to paint it. So I want to have completely separate items that I do on a live, and then have other items that I do on my own that are the timed ones. So for the ones I'm doing on a live, I'm probably always going to do, again, definitely not telling me anything I don't know. I just can't do it until I know how long it takes me, right? So I'm getting there. I just have to sit down and do it. And I haven't had the opportunity to sit down for 3 or 4 hours and see what I can bump out, right? So that's definitely where I'm going next. And I love that you guys want to make sure that I'm charging for my worth, and I appreciate that very, very much. And it's 100% something I'm working on. I just need the time to sit down and make it a project and get it done. So I'm working on a couple of things that are going to give me more time to sit and actually paint more. And I think that's going to make a really, really big difference. I feel like there was something else. Oh, right, I was going to do the side of this one. I'm a big fan of matte Mod Podge. I like the matte finish. I had some Liquitex matte varnish, and it did a fine job. But I had a brush that I had some gloss or some semi-gloss in, and I stuck it into the same, I dumped some of it back into the same bottle. Sorry, I had like a little paint pot with it in it too, and I dumped it back into the matte bottle and completely screwed it up. So, but I found that the matte Mod Podge is a really, really nice alternative, and the finish that it gives is absolutely delightful. For someone who's as in love with a matte finish as I am, that's for sure anyway. I'm using watered down Mod Podge as my varnish here. And this is an incense holder. This is just the edge of it. So then once these are dry and the varnish is dry, I will put some felt on the bottom. I varnish the bottom as well. And I'll put some felt on the bottom so that it won't scratch whatever surface it ends up sitting on. And this one should be good to go. The other thing I really like about using Mod Podge is even though it does dull some of the shine and some of the metallics, I still love the matte finish, and I still get enough sheen when I have the light hit on it, right? Now, not quite as much as I would like, because this one has a layer of satin varnish, a layer of high gloss varnish, and now 2 layers of matte varnish. But the other thing I really like is it doesn't go cloudy. I don't get the cloudy spots with these. I don't know the price yet because I haven't. These are the first ones that I've ever made, so I will be figuring that out before the shop update on Saturday. I don't have that figured out yet. I'm sorry. All right, let's see what else. This is an incense holder. So your incense stick would go like so. Oh, it's not rude at all, c'est la vie. Not rude at all. Never mind the questions. Okay, so now that we've got that done, I have a couple pieces that we can do the first coat of gesso on to start to prep them. I also have another incense holder that is ready to go. And we'll actually check back. We're going to leave the blue until tomorrow. And then I'll finish off the blue tomorrow. So let's paint some of these black, shall we? So here is an incense holder that looks, this is how it looks when it comes out of the mold. This one had a couple bubbles, so this is ones that I'm painting here. Like all of these ones had bubbles in them. So all of these ones, because they had bubbles and some imperfections in them here, they are not going to be as expensive as they will be, or the same price, I should say, as they will be on the ones that don't have those imperfections. And I am hoping to make a bunch of these blanks so that if you guys want to have some blank ones and don't want to mold them yourself, I'll make them for you and then you can paint them. Thank you so much, C'est la vie. How long did it take you to learn these amazing techniques? I started doing dot mandala painting in February of 2019, and I have been painting pretty darn close to every day since March of 2020. How do I get it so perfect? It's definitely not perfect. There's lots of tips and tricks that I use on every single piece to try and make it as symmetrical as possible. The biggest thing really is that it's a really fun art form. If you find it fun, that's how you know that it's something you want to keep going with, right? Because that's when you're going to put in the practice. Now, I find this art form incredibly meditative and very healing as a result. I find it very calming. Hours will disappear and I'll just sit and paint and hours will just melt away. So it's one of those things you really want to kind of look at it as to, do I enjoy it enough so that the practice doesn't feel like work, right? The practice doesn't feel like work. That's my goal. I want to just do it just because I enjoy it and because it feels good. And I'm going to let myself enjoy it for no other reason other than because I like it and it feels good. You got to let yourself be what some people may consider or label as selfish, but you have to. You got to look after yourself. You are not going to be the person that you want to be for the people that you love if you don't take care of yourself, right? And this is one of those art forms that can definitely help you do that. But the key is practice. If you want to see, just like anything, if you want to see your skill develop, you got to practice, right? So that's really the big thing to look for is the practice going to be enjoyable? I will do incense holder blanks, Lori. I don't know how many I'll have by next weekend because I don't know how many I'll get made. I'm going to start doing some molding tomorrow. I'm hoping I might have 5 or 10 of them available next weekend. I'm doing a shop update next Saturday at noon Eastern, where I'll have some blanks of these. I'll have some blank candle holders, both types, the big puffy chunky ones and the pancake flattened out ones. I'll also have some stones, some heart stones, some mini heart stones, and some mini 3 and 4 inch gypsum stones, the standard ones, and some 2-inch stones as well. I think I even have some 2-inch stones still available on the shop right now. But that is, and then I'm going to have at least 4 mugs, 3 incense holders, and 3 candle holders that will go up on the website next week as well. So I'm hoping to get a ton of blanks done for that shop update too. And my intention, Lori, is to 100% consistently have these blanks available. I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm starting to understand that if I want to make this a part of my business, I need to be making blanks every single day, no matter what. And I haven't been doing that. And so I want to get at that. Plus, I want to make sure there's enough stuff like this around here so that I can paint some too. So that'll definitely be coming for sure, Lori. Just a matter of when I'll get the volume up. This is one of my fun processes that I do every time. If I'm hitting a blank, if I'm not sure what to do next, if I'm kind of trying to think through an idea, finding some blanks and getting them painted is always a thoroughly enjoyable part of the process for me. Oh, very calming for you as well. Good. Hi, Carolyn. Yeah, it'll be cool, Lori? I'm excited because these are so fun. Yes, this is Liquitex gesso. This is black gesso. I am head over heels in love with this stuff. For the first couple years that I was doing this, I didn't use gesso on anything. I used, I think I had 1 or 2 huge canvases. I've got a 4-foot square canvas that I started a couple years ago that one day I'll get back to and finish. And I think it's the only thing I ever used gesso on. And I used clear gesso, and I think I used maybe 2 coats, and I certainly didn't sand it in between. So learning to use gesso, I honestly thought it was going to be a waste of my money. I'm like, why would I spend $25 on a bottle of this stuff when I could spend $1.50 on black acrylic paint at the dollar store? It's good enough. I will never base coat my stuff with black acrylic paint again. It will always be black gesso. And there's a couple different reasons for that. Number one, I used to hate painting on canvas because the fibers in the canvas created such a rough surface that my dots wouldn't be round, right? I would have a really, really hard time getting nice round dots and all of that. And the gesso smooths out the surface so wonderfully that I actually enjoy painting on canvas again now. I can't wait to paint a whole bunch of canvases. The other thing that I really notice is that it doesn't go chalky after sitting out like the cheap acrylic paints I was using, the craft acrylic paints that I was using. Now, I wasn't using great black paint either, certainly not high quality, but yeah, I kind of just had this moment. I'm like, fine, I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what all the hype is about, and I'm going to tell these people that they're all wasting their money. And then I use it. I'm like, well, crap. Now I love it too. Derpy Unicorn, I am using Ultra Cal 30. It is a gypsum plaster. That's what I use to make these candle holders. So this is the other stuff I'll have some blanks of next weekend as well. I use gypsum, which is Ultra Cal 30. I used to use plaster of Paris, but it's not very strong. I had stones cracking apart after shipping them, and it was very, very dusty. And I had a lot of breakage pulling them out of the molds too, because the material was just not as strong and not as stable, at least in my experience. Now, I might have been doing something wrong too, which is entirely possible, but I don't know what, and that's okay. But yeah, as soon as I started using gesso, I'm like, screw this. I'm never using anything else for a base coat ever again. I really, really like the finish. I like how dark it is, and I like that it doesn't go super chalky. Yes, 100%. But if you're still on the fence on whether you even like it or not, right? You want to make sure you like this art form before you go investing in anything that is more expensive, right? Like, don't go investing in higher quality paints and higher quality or more expensive tools or things like the gesso and everything like that. Don't go investing in that stuff until you know for sure that you like it and it's something that you want to invest in, right? My recommendation, if you are a beginner, while you can get cheap canvases from most dollar stores, if you're a beginner, to help remove some of the frustration that using gesso actually takes care of, if you're going to use regular craft acrylic paints, I would highly recommend painting on wood or on stone instead of on canvas until you are ready to start using gesso. Only because I don't want to see you end up having a negative start with canvas when gesso so quickly and easily repaired that relationship with canvas for me. So if you are new, painting on wood is phenomenal. Give it a really good sand though. It's worth taking some time to give it a really, really good sand before you go painting on it. Just to help give you a really, really good finish and get rid of any splinters and stuff. Definitely well worth it. It's not mandatory by any means, but it's definitely worth it in my experience anyway. This is a magnet. So it's a flower-shaped magnet. So I just wanted to prep that. And we're going to put a couple coats on that as well to paint a few more things this week. And then, actually, let's paint a couple. Let's do some little stones too. Why not, right? The paint that I'm using right now, I'm using black Liquitex Gesso, Luminous Designs. Yeah, the tea light holders are so fun, this and that. How you doing, Carolyn? I'm sending you lots of love. And I apologize, Amanda Tracy said I should write a book. You'd buy it. That's so kind. Thank you. Any book for starters? I haven't personally read any of the books, but I do know that Lydia May at .artdepot.com, Lydia has a fantastic book that I didn't start with it, so I can't tell you that it was a fantastic book from a beginner's standards and a beginner's perspective, because I read it after that. After I was really comfortable, but I can see it being really, really helpful. It's available on the website .artdepot.com. If you use the code JAIME10, JAIME10, you can get 10% off. Because I don't know too much about many books to try, I highly recommend YouTube. YouTube is the way to go. There is so much valuable information on YouTube and valuable instruction there. The blanks, I'm going to have a look and see how many more blanks I have. I don't know if I have enough and I can't get them anymore. So I haven't decided yet if I want to keep them for myself or if I want to sell the blanks. I am going to be doing a giveaway though. It's going to take me, maybe by the end of the day tomorrow, I should have it up. It's going to be a giveaway on Instagram, because just a couple days ago, I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. And so I'm going to do a giveaway. And one of the things that I'm going to give away is I'm going to give away a set of the DIY Mandala Stones tools. a set of nail dotting stylus tools, the double-ended metal ball tools, and I'm going to give away some things to paint on, and one of those things is going to be one of these flower magnets. So these ones, I got this mold to make these stones from an Etsy seller called Pisa Supply. I believe that she has since moved to the States, though. She used to live just outside of Toronto. But I believe Lydia May and if not Devon Dotting also have molds for this stuff. You could look up Pisa Supply on Etsy and see if she is still in business. I haven't looked for her yet because I haven't been in the need for another mold. But you could look her up and see what she's got. But these are little 2-inch stones, and I freaking love them. Freaking love them. They're super cute. Thanks, Jacobs. Thanks, Lori. Oh, say Lovey, that's so kind. Thank you. So yeah, I'm going to have a giveaway running on Instagram. I'll have it posted by the end of the day tomorrow. I haven't figured out the rules and all of that sort of stuff, so I'll get that all sorted out tomorrow. But keep an eye on my Instagram profile if you want to enter to win some of some painting supplies, some dot painting supplies. All right, I think we've got a good chunk of stuff prepped now. That's kind of nice. All right, let's see how our other stuff is doing. I'm going to try and clean my hands off here. Thank you, multiple alphabet characters. Thanks, Emmy Giggles. All right, I'm going to try and find a clean spot on this cloth and wipe my hands off. My hands are covered. And I don't want to pick anything up until I get this off my hands. I don't want to risk transferring anything. I've done that before, and it's not a happy place to go to. But thank you for the congrats, you guys. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to do a giveaway. So if you want to learn how to do, if you want to start doing some dot mandala painting, then that'll be a good giveaway to keep your eyes open for. I also am overly ambitious, and I'm completely convinced that at some point in the next little while, I'll hit 200,000 here on TikTok, so there will be another giveaway then too. I just don't know what it'll be. I'm thinking for that one, I need to do I'll do a custom mug for you kind of thing. I think that might be a really good time to do something like that, because I don't normally do custom orders, so that could be really fun to do. And I'm still a ways away. I mean, I have 183, so I'm still a ways away from 200K. But I don't know. I'm just completely convinced that it's going to happen. So I'm already mentally starting to prepare for that giveaway. That could be cool, eh, Emmy? I think that could be a cool prize. And I figure my Instagram audience is a lot of artists who want to learn and people who want to learn how to do it, more so than a lot of the other than Facebook and TikTok. So I think it would be a really good one to work with. All right, I'm going to cover that back up with some black gesso. If you haven't noticed, I go through like a million paintbrushes when I'm doing this stuff. You love doing art? That's fantastic. It's so wonderful to hear what people enjoy doing, right? Like, everybody's got something that they just, hours disappear when they do it. All right, I was going to sand this. Crapola. All right, well, I'll come back in after and sand that, and then we'll just have to do that over again. Thanks, Jacobs. Getting there. I'm getting there, my dear. I feel like I'm making progress, so we'll see how things go. But it's fun. You know, starting doing the patterns has been really, really fun. I've really enjoyed doing the patterns. I'm getting the second one ready. The pattern that will be on Saturday, that'll be released on Saturday, is what I built this design from. So there we go. Yes, it is always show up. It is. You do gobblers. Goblets? But starting these, yes, they're so fun. So fun. Tumblers. Goblets was close. And so I could see where gobblers, it's all right. It gets there. Autocorrect gets us all the time. Actually, let me go grab the painting and I'll show you what it looks like for the next one. Actually, just before I stand up. So remember I said that this incense holder was based off of a mug and then my pattern. This is the pattern. So this section here is the 4-inch pattern that I have available on my website. And then this is my 12-inch pattern with these circles and these swoops and everything going around the edge. So this is the pattern that I have available right now on my website. It's called Sour Candy. And then the next one is actually called Magic. And I'll show you. I can show you a part of it. It's not gonna make sense on this too much, but if you come into this and you take away all of these, right, and you just leave it with that dot, take away all those walking dots, and then this center section, that'll be the 4-inch pattern. Photos are much better. I tried to expand it, really wasn't happy with the design and how it ended up, so I won't be doing a 12-inch pattern for that one, just the 4-inch. So that's the pattern that'll be coming out next Saturday. It started as a mug and then ended up as a candle holder and now ended up as a pattern. And I think the third pattern I'm going to do is going to be the sunflower stuff. But we'll do a whole bunch. I want other art ideas to do. I was thinking resin things. What about UV resin? If you can get a kind of like a starter kit for a little bit and do some jewelry with that kind of stuff, Emmy. Thank you, Jacobs. Painting is fun too. You can get that fairly inexpensively, right? I don't do custom orders at this particular point in time, no. All right, so let me move this stuff out of the way again. And let's come in and do some more swoops here. Tumblers are amazing. They'd be so much fun to do. I've got one to paint, a couple to paint actually, I think 2. But I'm nervous. I'm nervous that it's not going to cure properly, so I'm going to have to do a couple of tests and see if that works out. But I love watching you guys making your tumblers with your resin and the spinning. Holy crap, it's satisfying. The glitter. How you doing, Tammy? All right, so I don't want to rest it flat down, but I am going to kind of rest the edge a little bit. You rhinestone them. Ooh, pretty. Use a good epoxy. That's usually what I hear is that it's really all about the epoxy that you use. It's so crucial to find a really good one that works well. That's so cool. I've used some art resin, but I've never done anything on tumblers and other stuff like that too. I've made some resin jewelry, and it hasn't been too bad. I'm not super happy with, I like them, but I don't like them enough to want to continue making a whole bunch of them. I think there's better surfaces that I could come up with to make some nice pendants, and I think UV resin might be a way to go for that. We'll see. It is the large incense holder, Tammy. I love them. Mr. Nola's glitter. And that's the thing, there takes so much research and trial and error to figure out what it is that you like and what's going to work for you and what matches what it is that you want to create, right? There's so much trial and error to all of it. Oh, they're epoxy. Cool. I'll have to have a look at that. I really would like to try UV resin. I think that could be fun. All right. So we've got 2 more spots to do these swoops, and I think that I can hold it in such a way that I can do them. And then I think we'll do the touch-ups on that other candle holder. Get that done. Feels nice to just get some projects completely done, you know? Now, these ones aren't perfectly dry. I don't want to put my hand on them or put any pressure, leave any fingerprints or impressions or anything, but they are dry enough that I feel confident to come in and do these swoops. For those of you who are used to my my live schedule, I want to make sure that I told you I normally take Thursdays off from doing a live, and this week it's going to be Wednesday. My mom's got a doctor's appointment on the Thursday, so I will be doing a live on the Thursday evening, and I know there are a lot of late evening ones again. I will be getting back to doing some daytime ones too. I got a chunk of something stuck in there. But for now, they're going to be the evening ones. But if you're interested in coming and hanging out while I paint live again, check out the post that I put up yesterday. It has my live schedule for the week. And tonight, I'm actually going to add them all as events in my Facebook page and my Facebook group. So if you're members there, or if you're following my page, then you'll have a place to go and see the live schedule. I do my lives, I rotate through TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Just came out with a hard set UV resin. Ooh, that would be cool. You thinking about playing with it? So how many tumblers can you make in a day? Like, do you have, I guess it would depend like everything too, right? Like the complexity of the design and how much you're doing that, but we should totally collaborate, Jacobs. Bad at picking paint colors? It's really hard. I know nothing about color theory. Christina Lee offers a lot of great information on color theory. Whether you're a dot mandala painter or you're just looking for help with color palettes and learning color theory, Christina Lee is a great resource for that. I personally just go with, how does this color combo make me feel? And just get comfortable with the trial and error, because I kind of felt the same way, because I was picking color combos and I'm like, I thought this would look good and it looks like garbage. You know, I was getting really, really frustrated with some of my color choices. But what I realized is I wasn't really paying attention when I was painting to see how the colors were actually making me feel. If I was, I would have recognized that right from the very beginning, I really wasn't that in love with how they look together. I was kind of like, well, doesn't look how I pictured it in my head, but let's try it and see if it works, you know? So really trust your gut and listen to what you like to look at. What are you enjoying looking at? Pinterest is a phenomenal resource for color palettes. Phenomenal resource for color palettes. My Dot Mandala Inspiration Deck is a great resource for color palettes, because not only I have prompts, right? like to paint a dot mandala with your favorite colors, or do some practice, or inspired by the future you, inspired by minimalism, the word enthusiasm. But they all also have images on the back of previous paintings that I've done, almost all my post-it notes. But so if you're stumped on color, you can always take inspiration from the color on the backs of these cards, or even the designs and stuff, right? Which is kind of cool. You can do quite a few a day. That's cool. Oh, I'm glad my voice is soothing to you. It's so funny because when I hear it, I'm like, how do people listen to me for hours? Because I don't stop. That's crazy. But I'm really glad. I love when I hear that. It makes me feel really, really good. Yeah. That one was way too much paint. So yeah, Pinterest is great as well if you have particular colors that you're fond of. Like if you went in and put in like a blue color palettes, or blue and green color palettes, or blue and purple color palettes, Pinterest will spit out tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of options for you. Tons of them. I still use Pinterest on a regular basis, for sure. People call here and ask if there's an adult here at 52. That's amazing. Oh, I love it. It must be frustrating though. That has to be frustrating where you're like, I'm a grown-up. You are talking to the adult. You know what? Everybody else is going to complain about sounding like an old person, and you're not. You're going to be like, see you, suckers. Here we go. You laugh every time. I like getting carded when I go to buy alcohol. That's always a fun one. I always like to give people crap too when they have this look of shock, like, oh, I didn't realize you were that old. I kind of give them a look. I'm like, you really need to be quite that shocked? Really? Oh. Sorry, just had a paint booger. Remember that the faster you go, the shorter your swoops will be. Okay? Yeah, it would come in handy when phone scammers come. I'm sorry, my mommy can't come to the phone. Totally would use that. Yes, this is a dotting tool. This is a double-ended nail dotting ball stylus tool. In the giveaway, this is actually, I've got a set of these that are going to go as well. They just have wooden handles. So that's going to be part of the giveaway too. These metal, the double-ended ball tools, I had these. I wish I could tell you where I got these ones. I got them either off of Amazon or Michael's. I've had them for well over a decade, back from when I used to do work with polymer clay. So for some reason, when I got rid of all of my other polymer clay supplies, which I deeply regret, by the way, I kept these for some reason, and I'm really glad that I did, because I had these right from the beginning when I started doing, looking at dot mandalas. I remember looking at a video going, wait a minute, I've got those. I was so excited. So, but you can get them off of Amazon. Dot Art Depot, again, is another spot where you can get tools. But these double-ended nail dotting stylus tools are absolute staples. When I was pregnant and married at 25, people stared at me like that poor kid. Oh my God. Oh, do you want to say, it's fine, I'm good? Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah, these are crucial tools. I have seen people doing walking dots with the DIY Mandala Stone tools. I have never figured out how to do them with those. When I'm doing walking dots, I do them with the ball stylus tools exclusively. One thing that's really important to know about any dotting tool that you're using, whether it's the nail dotting stylus tool, the DIY Mandala Stones tools, doesn't matter. You can take the same tool and create many different size dots based on a couple different things. One of them is the amount of paint that you load on the tool, right? So you can imagine that when I dip the tool in like this, it's going to create a certain size dot, right? As opposed to if I dip the tool in like this, it's going to create a very different size dot. So practice with your tools. Now, and those kind of things are things that I use all the time. I'll use the same size dotting tool and use very little paint, then a moderate amount of paint, and then a ton of paint, and I can create 3 rows of dots, all different sizes, using the exact same tool. I'm not saying I did that on this one, but I could using just different amounts of paint. Now, the other thing that's going to impact that, though, is going to be the thickness of your paint or the thinness of your paint. If you're painting on ceramics or glass, the thinner your paint is, the bigger chance you've got of it running down the sides and moving and spreading out a lot farther than that same paint would, say, on wood or stone or canvas. Okay, so if you are painting on wood, stone, canvas, you're still going to be looking at consistencies and thickness and thinness. So I don't know how to thicken paint. That's not something that I've done. I have been told that gel mediums are the way to go if you need to thicken your paint, if your paints are too thin. And you can get those at Michael's. And then to thin your paints is pouring medium and even a little bit of water. Now all your paints are going to come and you're going to have different consistencies within your brand and within your lines of paint. Okay, so you might get 3 multi-surface paints all from Folk Art and have all 3 of them have different consistencies. So you really want to get comfortable with what the consistency is that you want for your piece and for what you're painting on. If you are painting on ceramics or glass, you need multi-surface acrylic paints, porcelain or glass paints, or enamel paints. They are all designed to paint on super smooth surfaces like that don't have any tooth, nothing for the paint to grab onto. So the important thing to know about those is those you cannot thin down with pouring medium or water. If your paints are too thick and you've got multi-surface, Folk Art, Martha Stewart you're gonna come across this with both of those brands. The only way to thin them is with a thinner multi-surface paint. So my favorite multi-surface paint is Craftsmart right now. I really enjoy it. I love the Martha Stewart, but I can't get them. They were always my favorite before. If I can get them again on a regular basis one day, they might become my favorite again, but I am loving the Craftsmart multi-surface acrylic paints. They're definitely really good ones. But so often the Craftsmart and even the Apple Barrel is quite a bit thinner, especially the Apple Barrel is quite a bit thinner than the other paints, so they can be good ones to mix with. So for example, if you had some Apple Barrel, you could mix it with some Folk Art or some Martha Stewart and mix it together and thin it down that way. I hope that helps. Oh, use it. Yes, and that makes total sense. That's a really good point, Barb. You can use DIY to walk, but not once you get up to the larger tools, only while you're still kind of at the more pointier tools so that the paint can still run off. I hope that that's helpful, you guys. I'm kind of looking at everything and saying that, we've really only got 10 minutes left and there's not much I can really get started on right now. So I think we're going to sign off a couple minutes early today. I am going to be live again tomorrow. I have no idea when or what time. I think it's from 7 until 9 tomorrow. But I don't remember where it is. Part of me says it's in the Facebook group tomorrow. So if you want to join my Facebook group, there is a link in my bio. And just make sure you answer all the questions, especially the one that says that you agree to the group rules, and then I can approve you and jump into the group with you. And then I think that's where the live is tomorrow. I don't have a YouTube channel as of yet, but that is coming up hopefully in the not too distant future. Hopefully. I would love to get it up and running very, very soon, so hopefully that'll happen soon. I paint dot mandalas, Team Blue. I paint dot mandalas on pretty much anything I can get my hands on. These are incense holders. I made some candle holders, all kinds of fun stuff. 7 to 9 Facebook tomorrow. Thanks, Lori. And thank you guys. Thanks, Barb, as always. I love you guys. Thanks for choosing to take time out of your day and come and hang out with me. I really, really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to do some more painting with you really, really soon. I'll hope to get to hang out with you again really soon. Thank you so much, Team Blue. I'm so glad to hear that. You guys, please take care of yourselves, okay? Look after yourselves. Give yourself some time to do something that you just enjoy, that's good for you. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, guys. Lots of love. Bye-bye.